In this bustling metropolis of the United Arab Emirates where innovation meets convenience, there is a company that's revolutionizing the way we think about laundry and garment care. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with Rami Shaar, the CEO of Washmen, the pioneers of professional laundry, dry cleaning, and shoe care in the UAE. Rami, it's a pleasure having you with us today at Arabian Business. How are you feeling?
Great.
Thank you for coming. And I would just like to start off by asking you about your background and how did Washmen just come to be?
Okay, so by trade, I'm kind of an investment banker. That's what I did as my first job out of university after studying finance. And
very little sleep.
Yes, yeah. Like I was doing like between 100 and 120 hours a week, right?
Oh, wow.
Very intense job, didn't really like it. I wanted to get a bit more entrepreneurial, so private equity was kind of the natural step out of investment banking into more of an entrepreneurial world where you're buying companies and trying to create value. And then there was one incident in my private equity job where I felt that I need to get even more hands-on. And then I got an opportunity in 2014 to join Uber as one of their early employees, helping launch the operations here in the Middle East. So I launched Jeddah, and then I managed Abu Dhabi and then Dubai, operations team. And from that, I still had the urge to kind of do my own thing. It took me exactly a year, 365 days in Uber, and then I was like, that's it, I'm out. And I was feeling ready for my venture.
You've gained enough experience, and then you were ready to start.
Yeah, I would say, gained a lot of experience, and there was kind of this fear that I kind of got over. There's certain things that I thought I wasn't capable of doing.
Right.
And during my experience at Uber, being more operational, being more hands-on, I felt like, no, the operation is actually the funnest part. And it took me to kind of like, I would say it was a stepping stone towards starting Washmen.
And I mean, Washmen now became a very prominent name in the industry, and I know thousands of people that are using it on a daily basis. So could you share with us maybe some key milestones, but also the challenges that you faced in these years since you
So we started in 2015. Started with, I'm one of the co-founders with my best friend from university who came on board. So I wanted, getting the right partner on board as the first step I think it was the best decision.
And having that trust, right?
Getting Jad as my partner. He's the smartest person I knew, and we complemented each other in our personal lives, and I thought he would be a great fit. So we started our journey, joined an accelerator in 2015, and in the end of September we launched. It's been 8 years since. Initially, when we launched, it was an asset-light business model, meaning that we didn't own the operations. We would partner with some local laundries and bring some demand to them. And then as the years passed and we were able to attract venture capital and serious money, we realized that supply chain integration was a way to really scale this business and to become an expert at what you do. There was a limitation working with the partners, how much they can do for us.
Right.
And the only way to really capture and become the best laundry in the world is by owning everything from A to Z. We've traveled all over the world. We've looked at so many laundries. We've worked with many laundries. We knew what their issues were. And we felt like in 2018, it was a good time for us to really build the dream laundry. So we started building that in 2018. 2019, we launched. 6 months after that, Corona hit us. So it was a bit of a difficult time. But since, let's say, our pre-COVID high is still today, we've probably grown like 5-6x since then. So,
but would you say COVID helped you?
I would say COVID was a speed bump.
Right.
It helped us in the sense that we became a leaner company. We focused more on, restructuring the business. Me and my business partner, we call ourselves now kind of like wartime CEOs, where we really needed to go down to like bare bones. We saw the loyalty of our employees. There are certain employees that stuck around, and I'm very grateful to that till today. And it's built kind of the culture of where we are today and how we're moving forward as a business.
I wanted to go into the unique services that Washmen offers. If you could just elaborate on all of those, and especially in the area of shoe care, I heard you guys are quite strong in that. So what really sets your company apart from your competitors, and what do you offer that's super beneficial?
So starting with like competitors, I think that's a good start, because I don't necessarily think that the Washmen experience is really comparable with what's available in the market. Mm-hmm. So if you look at a laundry and dry cleaning business today, they really cater for formal wear and business wear, right? And initially when I started the business, I looked at kind of like, I wanted to solve the full pain points of garment care in your house. So initially, 8 years back, I would call my laundry guy, he'd come to my house, I'd have my laundry basket, I'd open everything on the floor in front of him and be like, okay, this you do, this I will do. And I realized that, there's more than half the basket that I was still doing myself, right? So take, for instance, underwear, socks, gym wear.
Yeah.
That's not something that you would normally send to a laundry and dry cleaner here in the UAE. So we thought, first, how do we capture that part of your laundry basket? So we launched the wash and fold service, which is popular, let's say, in North America, but never existed here, which is kind of like, a big bag, you fill it up for 66 dirhams, and as much as you can put in there will wash, dry, and fold. All right, so now we broke out of the whole business wear and the formal wear to more kind of casual wear, right? And then when Corona kicked in, a big part of our business is business wear, and that went away, right? Because people were working from home, and now they're more kind of like casual wear and home items like your bed sheets, your pillowcases, towels, right, all of that. So we launched home care, which is another bag that you can fill for a set price. And
you kicked the jackpot there.
Yeah, so now we're catering, for not just your clothes, but like, your home items. And naturally, as you do that, you start catering for different cohorts or different customer personas in the market. Those that couldn't afford to send, let's say, their underwear, because 3 dirhams a piece doesn't make sense. Now they're stuffing all their underwear into a bag along with right, their gym wear and all of that, and it's starting to make sense. So Washmen caters for different customers, and if you know how to use it, right, you're able to get the value out of the experience. And then that led us to, the next, I would say a year ago, we launched shoe care and back care, which is, another pain point. Now, your shoes get dirty. You don't really think about cleaning them. And if you try and clean them at home, you create a mess in your bathroom trying to clean your shoes. So you don't really go through that effort yourself. So we brought something which is, something that is more sustainable towards how you look at your shoes. Today, I'm actually not buying that many shoes, because I'm able to send it back to Washmen. They come back pretty much new, and I'm able to give it a second life. Same thing with bags.
Right, that's very interesting. And I mean, I did want to bring back to your point where you said that you could fill as much possible things you can inside a bag. Even hotels should use that at a certain point, because even in hotels now, it's 3 dirhams per piece, whatever it is that you put inside that laundry bag. So I think that's a very good idea that you've launched. Moving on now to collaborations. I was really curious in asking you about partnerships. It's definitely something that's instrumental for any business, as you may know. So are there any notable collaborations that have been happening with Washmen that you can talk to us about?
Yeah, so before the collaboration, I think we were kind of, focused on how would this industry change from being an offline industry to a kind of an offline online player, and what is the future of laundry?
What's next?
I think that the future is purely online, and we are beginning to see the rise of super apps and what I call digital malls, right? Back in the day, a laundry would go to, let's say, a mall and rent space, right? Now it's beginning to become like digital malls like Careem, for instance, which is a super app, and they have multiple verticals, and you have your virtual real estate in there. So we started focusing really on the customer experience and the technology, first internally as end-to-end for Washmen, by owning the supply chain, by building the tech from the customer's app all the way to how your items move inside of the facility.
As you said, A to Z, yeah.
And once we became A to Z and ready, we were able to provide a turnkey solution to those partners. And the biggest partnership that we have is with Careem, where we're the only laundry player on the platform servicing their customers in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And it's been a phenomenal opportunity for us. We work very closely with them. We have like literally like every week we're meeting on how to improve the experience. They're very data driven. We're also data driven as well. And there was kind of like a tech to tech perfect match between us, which allowed us to really hack the customer psychology when it comes to how do you move them from just ordering their rides and their food to now doing, let's say, laundry and other things, right?
Right.
And that's been quite exciting. And we're seeing, every month we're seeing that the experiments that we run together as partners is translating into better conversion towards kind of the vision that we're working towards.
And I feel like you can learn a lot from Kareem as well.
Absolutely. Right. So we have the Washmen brand and we have the Kareem laundry powered by Washmen.
Right.
And our approach with our partners is we can't really necessarily force the Washmen way on how we communicate with their customers, for instance. And we really look at Kareem as a new project. We do have kind of our know-hows in the operations, but when it comes to communicating to the customer and like marketing to the customer, it's a new product to market fit. Right? And there's a shift. Earlier, there's Washmen does things in a certain way, but as we evolved as partners, we realized no, we need to kind of approach this as a new challenge. And my next partnerships now is we're learning from the Kareem experience, and seeing that every partner, you need to really understand first who are their customers and how do you cater for their customers, right? As opposed to kind of forcing a one-way approach of how Washmen has been doing, its communication and its marketing. It's actually quite different, and it's quite challenging and it's quite fun because you're tapping into a completely new, let's say, segment that you're not used to as a business.
And I mean, when you do collaborate, it's very important that you adapt to each other and each other's needs. So I can imagine the amount of new things.
There is a give and take. Obviously, there's a middle ground. There's an equilibrium, but I would say that energy is quite positive. It's a negotiation. You're always negotiating with your partner, but you're really, if you trust your partner and you have a very long-term vision, I think it just, that negotiation moves in the right way.
Definitely. And I mean, talking about positive energy, year 2022 has been very exciting for Washmen, if I'm not mistaken. So if you can share some of the key highlights, I guess, that happened in 2022, and what are you most proud of? So
the growth has been, quite strong. We grew between 2021 and 2022, 60%. 2022, 2023 will be around 55 to 60%. So we're still maintaining that growth. We launched, obviously, in 22 the shoes and bags. So that's still a initially young vertical that's still growing. We have one of the largest facilities that we've built for shoes and bags, 10,000 square feet dedicated just for the operations, and we're utilizing the capacity every month higher and higher. More recently, in 2023, we launched the Finery, which is the high-end segment for garment care. So let's say you have a Loro Piana sweater that's really expensive. You've paid a couple of thousand dirhams for. You're willing to pay a bit more to make sure that you get an insurance on nothing will happen. So we pay up to 10,000 dirhams per item for anything sent to the Finery if anything goes wrong. And then you have a much more diligent where we're close to 400 employees. We take the best that just work on your items, and we take our time. So it's not a 2-day turnaround. It can be maybe a 7-day turnaround where every item is measured. We create a certain program for how do we cater. There's a lot of handwork that goes into it. There might be some tailoring where we deconstruct an item. We clean it separately because of the different fabrics that are involved in the item, and then we construct it back. So it's a very bespoke garment cleaning process. That's been the highlight I would say of this year. And I would, the overall theme, for Washmen in 2023 is really focusing on improving the customer experience, maintaining that growth, and it being the first profitable year for us in operations after 8 years. What advice would you give to other young entrepreneurs that are, let's say, wanting to be you or wanting to do something that you've done, not necessarily in the laundry industry, but in general? Entrepreneurship in general, yeah. So first, I would say you need to really evaluate if entrepreneurship is for you or not, right? And money isn't necessarily, a lot of people want to go into entrepreneurship because of money and I'm going to make a lot of money, sure. But you can also make a lot of money being an employee, right? So there's, big time CEOs and chief level positions that you can make a couple of $1 million a year. So you need to understand, is entrepreneurship and the risk that you take there, is it suitable for you, or someone that can really develop in your career? The next step is, I would say, depends usually on the idea, but in general, when you quit your job, right, and you start, there's sweat equity that you're putting into this. Sweat equity meaning that you're not taking a salary for a long time. You're putting your kind of time at risk. And that also means that you shouldn't be putting the money up front from your own pocket. When you were an employee, that money saved, it's very hard-earned money,
right,
that shouldn't be risked into your venture. You're still starting a new business is the riskiest form of investment, and you've already taken the step yourself by kind of like moving away from your career path and bringing in your own money into your own venture. I think is quite risky. So I realized this, I always thought, save a bit of money, then start your own business. But I realized there's a lot of financial innovation out there of how do you raise money in a way that makes sense for the investor and the entrepreneur, and how does the investor value the sweat equity. And achieving that balance, there's a lot of articles, and there's a lot of people that can tell you about this. And that financial innovation allows you to build a successful venture without all the stress of I've put so much money into this, I'm about to fail.
It's toxic.
Yeah, and it becomes very difficult for you to
think clearly.
Think clearly. Like one of the criteria that I had, for instance, I didn't want to take any family money because I just felt that was too much pressure for me, right?
Yeah.
And I kept the kind of friends and more distant family. The other advice I would say is pick your partner. I think my business partner is my single best, life decision that I've taken. He's been a great impact on, making this a success, and professionally and personally, right?
So it hasn't ruined your personal relationship?
No. So a lot of people will tell you, how can you, start a business with your best friend?
Right.
And I looked at him first, when picking him as someone who's complementary to my skill sets, complementary to my personality. We're two different people. I would say, more of the craziness, more of the chaotic aspect of how we run this business.
Although you seem very calm and collected, I would never say.
Sure,
Yeah.
but he's more organized and more structured,
Okay.
and more sane, I would say. So
It needs to be a yin-yang situation.
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say that there is a yin-yang there, and we've never had a situation where we would fight with each other and we would sleep on it, right?
Wow, okay.
The fight would explode right there and then.
Of course.
And then, a cigarette break, you come back and it ends right there, right? So that kind of dynamic has been, our dynamic has been quite healthy, and I would love to continue working with him, and if we come up with another idea, I would love to also, remain to be his partner.
Hope he's watching this interview. I'm sure he will. Now, unfortunately, we are running out of time, Rami, but my final question for you would be, if I were to give you like a time machine right now,
Okay.
and you go back in time, what advice would you give to a younger version of yourself? With all the experiences that you passed through, obviously, and the journey that you took, is there anything that you regret that you could say, I would change this?
I wouldn't say there's too much of a regret. Actually, I used to look at it the opposite way. When I was 25, I used to always tell myself I'd love to meet my 40, right? Or
Right.
To tell me like how.
Back to the future.
Yeah, kind of thing. But I would say, follow your passion. If there's something in you that's kind of like, when I was an employee, I always felt like I wanted to take on my fate, put it in my own hands, and if I fail for myself. I don't fail because, I got an employee review that says, I don't like the way you work.
And you don't blame it on others.
Yeah,
basically.
and I also realized at a young age that I'm an athlete. So I was a captain of my football team when I was in high school. I'm very competitive, and usually I like to pick my own team. So if I get picked into a team, I don't perform as well as when I pick my team, right? And that was kind of like, I had a big dissatisfaction with the team dynamics in my previous job. And when I moved into creating my own business, I created the dynamic and the culture around me to allow me to flourish, right?
And it's great that you took all of these benefits from your personal hobbies, let's say. You've learned from that as well. It's not just, this is my professional life and this was my past. Professionally, it's also, okay, I've done this and that. These were my hobbies. I learned from them as well and I've implemented into my professional life today. I think that's great. Anyways, Rami, we loved having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming over to our studios, and it was a lovely, lovely chat. Hope to see you again very soon, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And there you have it, an insightful journey through the world of Washmen, a company that is redefining laundry and garment care in the UAE. With their innovative solutions and unwavering commitment to quality, Washmen has emerged as a trusted partner for countless individuals and families, ensuring that your cherished items are treated with care and attention they deserve. Thank you for joining us today. Like and comment your thoughts. With you was multimedia producer Mina Vucic, and see you next time with more AB content.